All right. What up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. Going ahead and give you guys an update on Enphase, okay? Ticker symbol ENPH. Now, solar stocks have absolutely been on fire, and Sunrun, another solar stock, just reported earnings. So you may see that spill over into Enphase and cause Enphase to have a nice rally tomorrow. But we just got a very hawkish Jerome Powell at the most recent FOMC meeting, in his speech afterwards, right? And so that's really affecting the market and causing major pullbacks in a lot of sectors. Okay. Now, energy has been outperforming, especially these solar companies like Enphase. They recently hit all time highs when stocks like Meta are down huge, stocks like Amazon are down huge. These solar companies have been outperforming, but there's a lot of things you need to be cautious of on Enphase. We're going to break that down. Just subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I'll be posting videos like this every single week, and smash the like button if you find anything useful in this video. Now, the things I want to cover are going to be these gaps down. Okay, so all of these blue boxes, they're gaps on the daily chart. So there's a gap in between this candlestick and this candlestick. There's a gap in between this one, and there's a gap in between these ones right here. These gaps fill about 90% of the time historically in the market. The main question you have to ask is when, right? So, they may not fill soon, as you can see, even though we gapped up here, it's not even close to filling that gap. We're still rallying up very, very hard. Now, we came close after the recent pullback and tried to fill this gap down here, but we have a very strong support level on the weekly chart that I'm going to go ahead and break down for you guys. But we're going to start off on the daily, zoom out to the weekly, and then zoom out to the monthly. And you can really see the bearish signs that there are, potentially signaling that, we may get a very strong pullback. Now, I don't think it'll be anytime necessarily soon that we come down and fill this gap here around 195, but in 2023, this may be something that ends up giving back some of the gains that it's been getting throughout the year of 2022. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our relative strength index now. All right, and I'm going to highlight how we have a bearish divergence, right? So if we look at this point on the chart, we have a high on our relative strength index, and then we come down and make a lower high. Well, if we look right here, we have a high right here, and we come over and make a higher high. So clearly we're in an uptrend on the stock and it's increasing in price, but the relative strength of this stock is dropping. So that's what's known as a bearish divergence. It's an indicator that you may see some bearish activity in the future. On top of that, we have the three gaps down that I mentioned to be cautious of. So those could fill. The main question is when. If we zoom out to the weekly chart now, okay, we can also take a look at the weekly chart and see, here's that major support level that I was talking about with you guys that we need to break to head back lower, okay? And if we look on the weekly chart, we have a divergence there as well, right? We can zoom out and we can see, even all the way back from here to here, okay, we have highs on the chart where we're making higher highs, clearly showing an uptrend high, higher high, higher high. Definitely an uptrend. The price of the stock is going up, but the strength of this stock is actually decreasing slowly over time. So again, that's a bearish divergence on a larger time frame, on the weekly time frame. If we look at our MACD right here, okay, typically what you can see for buy and sell signals on the MACD is going to be this blue line. That's what you're going to try and pay attention to. And if you notice on the weekly chart, we did actually get a sell signal and the blue line crossed below this orange line on the MACD, and it's trying to curl up. So if we see it curl back up above the orange line, it's going to be bullish and it's going to try to continue this momentum upwards. But if we get rejected right along there and continue heading lower, then that's when we may start to see some of these gaps fill. But again, we need to really break that 232.94 support level. Okay. Let's just call it 293. And then if we go ahead and zoom out to the monthly chart, right, and look at the monthly chart, we can see all of this stuff aligning and forming together, right? We have higher highs on the monthly chart. Okay. We can clearly see that in an uptrend, higher highs, but the relative strength index has a high, slightly lower high, and a lower high right here. So again, we're seeing that divergence on the relative strength index. It's getting weaker and weaker, right? Our MACD is pretty strong still, trading above the orange on the monthly chart, but we're going to be looking for that sell signal on the weekly chart, again, as I mentioned. And these three levels are going to be our key support levels if we do try to give back these gains. The reason being is this is our COVID low right here, right? And then this is our most recent all-time highs that I mentioned we just made here recently. If we were to retrace from these levels, these three levels are going to be the very strong and key support levels that we're going to test, right? It's either going to be the 38.2 level, the 50% retracement level, or the golden ratio right around 61.8. Now, it doesn't mean we have to drop all the way to the very bottom, okay? But, in a normal retracement pattern, you would see the strong uptrend, and then you have a retracement just to end up continue going higher. So, it is due for a pullback, and it would be completely healthy if we drop down below these three gaps, okay, and find support at 174. That's our 50% retracement. And that's completely healthy for a pullback and then a move higher. So, we have lots of signals. We have lots of bearish divergence on the monthly chart, on the weekly chart, on the daily chart. On the weekly, we got a MACD sell signal. On the daily, we have these three gaps down to fill that fill about 90% of the time. So just wanted to make a video on Enphase. And, even though it's been outperforming the market, maybe it now is not the best time to hop back into it, to look for some gains, because there is a lot of signs that we may be getting a pullback, and it could be a pretty big pullback, right? If we look at where it's at right now, and if it was to come all the way down to the 38.2 retracement level, that's about a 27% drop. If our 50% retracement is going to be roughly a 40% drop, and then the 61.8 retracement is going to be roughly a 50% drop. All right. Nothing is going to go up forever. It is going to retrace. If we go ahead and take a look over here, we can see from the COVID lows up to its previous highs. All right, we can take a look there and look at where it ended up retracing to, right? It broke through the 50% level and got very close to the 61.8, ultimately before making new all-time highs. So I'm just trying to say that we may see that pattern repeat itself, and we may pull up, come down towards the 50% retracement level, and then we get our next push to the upside, right? So hopefully you learned something new in this video. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I also do viewer requests every single week. So if you have a specific stock or strategy you would like me to break down, make sure to let me know in the comments below.